and we are finishing this Friday by having a great lineup, which includes Anthony Walker Jr., linebacker for the Cleveland Browns. Anthony, welcome.
I appreciate you guys having me.
You know, usually we have this like 1 degree of separation where we kind of know where a guy went to school and maybe he knows a guy that played in the league and the CFL, this, that. I think Northwestern guys, if they don't make the NFL, they're too smart to come to Canada.
Go to get a job.
They're like doctors, lawyers, all those things.
That's
you know,
funny.
it's kind of funny. Before we get into football, let's look at your bio. You're a Florida guy.
Yeah.
How's a Florida guy wind up in Northwestern?
So it's funny. My dad, really big on academics, was a teacher, dean of students now at my high school. Really big on academics. So I definitely want to have that balance when I got to college. So I really wanted to go to Stanford or Duke. Those are my top two.
Wow.
Obviously, University of Miami, but Stanford or Duke if I didn't get the University of Miami. University of Miami never offered me. Went to Stanford. They weren't interested. Duke, they weren't interested. So the next best thing was Northwestern, which I didn't have. I had no clue who it was. Coach came in, and I actually think a coach from Stanford sent my tape to Northwestern, and they came and offered me. Yeah.
Is that kind of like I don't want to say a feather in the cap, but a motivational thing in the sense that, here are these schools that didn't offer me. And guess what? Hey, by the way, when I play like on Monday Night Football and I announce my name and my school, it's not you.
Yeah, no doubt. I think what even made it better was Northwestern played Stanford and Duke the next 2 years, so I was able to play against them, and I never lost to either one of them. So
that's nice.
That was huge. We upset Stanford in 2015, and then we beat Duke 2015 and 2016. So
what do you got going on at Radio Row? Are you just out here getting reps?
I'm just out here getting some reps, man. Trying to work on my media voice for one day. But I love coming out here, for the Super Bowl. Hopefully to be playing in it 1 year, so I don't have to. But it's always good.
It's interesting because you see a lot of the younger guys come through, like, C.J. Stroud's like walking around, some of the guys that are in the draft, and they're getting this type of media training.
Yeah.
I remember one year Darren Sproles, who had speech issues, and he just came out. Man, I'll never forget, we interviewed him, and I will give him full props just for him to overcome that.
No doubt.
To try to, work on it in a public setting.
No
so,
doubt.
Guys are out here getting reps. But, even in the sense of media, Chad Brown, former linebacker in the league, played for the Steelers and the Patriots and the Seahawks. Even Chad said from a media perspective, it's great coming out here because you're getting those reps.
No doubt.
Right?
No doubt. I mean, I think the hardest part of, being an athlete, is the media. Trying to control the narrative and not getting baited into saying stuff and all that stuff. So, I tell myself all the time, anytime I have the opportunity to speak, to media, just practice. That's always practice for, when I do have that big speech, if I win defensive MVP 1 year, that I'm ready to, answer the questions and stuff that come along with that. So it all matters. I think I saw in a movie one time, somebody said the hardest thing, for anybody to do is public speaking, and it is, just to overcome the fear of speaking aloud, so, being able to get this training, like you said, it all makes perfect sense.
It's interesting. There's guys in my industry that work radio, right? And they're fine in this type of setting.
Yeah.
Put them in a banquet room with 400 people, and they're like, right? So,
no doubt.
What's the media like in Cleveland? Do you think they're fair?
Fair.
Are they?
Yeah, they're fair.
Oh, man, that silence spoke volumes.
I mean, it's tough, though. I mean, we play a professional sport, and, when you're not winning, they're going to talk about you. And I'm used to it. I think we as players, we try to block it all out, but at the end of the day, you want people to, you want people to talk well about you. So
do you know that the one thing, though, like with media markets like that, and I see it in hockey all the time, especially with Canadian markets, guys will play like in Florida and nobody bothers them, right? They play in Vancouver, Toronto, and everything you do is like, are there bigger markets? I mean, the NFL is so huge. Are there markets in the NFL that the players talk about and they say, you know what, it's actually fun playing here? Like the media's not bad, and it's not like, crazy in terms of if you want to go and have dinner.
Yeah.
Or is it crazy everywhere?
I think it's everywhere. I mean, I wouldn't say. I thought Indy was cool. I played for the Colts for 4 years, and I think I thought that was cool. Like you said, fair. And then the city isn't too over crazed. Cleveland is diehard football. So 0-16, they were out there. So we had high expectations the last 2 years. And, you know, obviously the fans want to see good football, and we weren't able to do that consistently enough. So, like I said, they're fair though. I want to win as well. So I'm with, you know, we got to get it. We got to get it going.
How close are you guys in Cleveland?
Very, very. Not far off. You know, I think we dealt with a couple injuries last year. It hurt, you know. Me myself, going out week 3, that sucked for me. And then we had a lot more end up happening on the defensive side of the ball. So I think, you know, hopefully it don't hit the linebacker room how it did last year. We lost 4 linebackers to IR in 1 year. That's unheard of. But yeah, we'll you know, put the pieces together and get Deshaun rolling, and we'll be good.
You know, the one thing when I think about a team, and, you know, maybe you've experienced this, but I think it's always, especially when you have a new group, a new bunch of players that haven't built that, what I call reference points, right? And that is, you've got a bunch of new guys together, you bring them together, and then at the start of the year, I think the start's always so huge.
Yep.
If you can get off to a couple of wins, tight games,
Yep.
all of a sudden now you believe in one another.
No doubt.
You trust that guy beside you, right?
No doubt.
Whereas if you lose those games that are close at the start of the year, you're still looking for that reference point of saying, hey, you know what? I can trust the guy lining up beside me or in front of me or whatever the case may be. So, like, when you look at your team, how important do you think it is to get off to a good start next year?
Yeah, I think last year we were a minute and 30 seconds away from being 3-0, and the Browns having a whole completely different season. You know, you know, we're up 30-17 against the Jets with a minute and 30 seconds left. We give up a big play on the second play of the drive. They get the onside kick, and then they go down and score again before the game, and it's 31-30. Crazy.
Yeah,
you know?
That's the NFL, though.
That's the
right?
NFL, yeah. You say it like, but that's the difference between us being 2-1 or 3-0. 3-0 with 3, you know, tough wins, 3 big wins to start off the season. The Jets, who were a playoff, you know, almost were a playoff team. You know, the emotional game against Carolina with Baker. And then being our rival in Pittsburgh, we would have been 3-0. But again, just doesn't happen that way. But those are the games that we have to find a way to win.
All right, the Super Bowl itself, Super Bowl 57, the Chiefs and the Eagles. Let's talk a little bit about the linebacking cores on both teams. Yeah. Your position, do you think like one team has an advantage over the other?
At the linebacker position, I think both teams have just great young linebackers. You got Nick Bolton, Willie Gay for Kansas City, and then, you know, you got T.J. Edwards, Kyler, the other for Philadelphia. I'm biased though, man. I played for J.G. Gannon, the defensive coordinator for Philly. I played with him in Indy. So if I had to give an edge, I know how he coaches those guys, and he coaches hard. And if I had to have an edge to give to one team, I'll give it to Philly.
Do you have any emotional ties to other teams? You just mentioned the D coordinator.
Yeah, the D coordinator, head coach Sirianni was in. Yeah, so okay. I'm like, you know, I want those guys to win. I think the best shot of the NFC Championship game was those two hugging at the end of the game, man, because I know, you know, how much they love each other. They had such a great relationship when we were in Indy. So, you
know, as you get older and when you get out of the league, and I find this in the media business, that growing up you're a fan all the time, right?
No doubt.
But when you get into this industry, after a while, that fandom kind of like it disappears. But you root for people.
Yeah, you get a little favorite.
You root for the guys that you know, or the coaches that you know, the people that you know that are good people.
Yep.
And that's when it's kind of cool to see those guys win, as you just mentioned right there.
Doubt.
All right, before we let you go, one of my best friends, his son's girlfriend, Amy, if you're listening, she's a huge Browns fan.
Okay.
What do you tell Amy about her beloved Cleveland Browns in 2023? What's going to happen?
Hopefully I sign back as a free agent.
He might not even be there. Okay. Amy, don't worry about it. He's gone.
Hopefully.
He's done.
Hopefully I sign back. And if I do, you know, high expectations.
Do you think you'll be back?
I want to be back.
Yeah. Well, if you want to be back, then hopefully something gets worked out.
We'll make it happen.
Right?
So.
But if it's not, business is business.
Business is business, and we got to go to where we want it.
Hey, great having you. Great talking football. It's been a lot of fun, and enjoy the rest of the reps here at Radio Row.
Will do. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.